What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for coming back to another video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about Star Wars Resistance Season 1. So Star Wars Resistance is the third of the Star Wars canon animated shows, and without a doubt is easily my least favorite of the three. I just want to go ahead and lay that out right at the very beginning. And yeah, I know Season 2 is already out and is already completed, but I have not been able to finish that season just yet. And at this point, I'm just going to wait till it hits Disney Plus so I can just binge all the episodes I haven't caught up on yet, and then I'm going to do a separate video for Season 2. And if you have no idea about this show is actually just ending at Season 2. There will only be 2 seasons. And yeah, so let's talk about Season 1. So Star Wars Resistance Season 1 takes place during the events of The Force Awakens. It actually begins a little bit before the events of The Force Awakens, but by the end of the season, you are right in the middle of the events of The Force Awakens. And I really enjoyed that. I love the fact that we have the Clone Wars that takes place during the prequel series. Then you have Rebels that takes place a few years prior to the events of A New Hope and the original trilogy. And then you have this one that takes place during the sequel trilogy. And I really enjoy that. I like that we have 3 different animated Star Wars shows that take place in 3 different eras, and yeah, I'm all about that. So this season follows the character of Kaz, who is this guy who's just really ambitious. He's kind of goofy, kind of a dweeb, doesn't really know too much about how to go about things, but he has these passions. He's driven, he wants to be a pilot, and he wants to be something bigger. He wants to do bigger things. And those are typically the traits of your typical Star Wars protagonist. And this guy is definitely a lot more goofy and silly than a lot of the Star Wars protagonists we've had in the past. He's definitely a lot dumber too, and I think that that's definitely what makes him unique. However, he's definitely a very interesting Star Wars character when you think about it, because he is the main character of the show. And though you may have characters in the other films and TV series that start off a little dumb, a little naive, and maybe they're a little whiny, and they grow throughout the course of their arc, yeah, this character does have that to some extent, but he spends a lot of his screen time just kind of being the bumbling idiot who means well, who gets himself in and out of situations by being a bumbling idiot. And that by no means means that I don't like the character of Kaz, but it's just a criticism I have of his character, is that as I was watching the show, I just thought this is the dumbest Star Wars protagonist that we have ever had. So because of Kaz's will, his drive, his passion, and his overall goodness in his heart, he's recruited by the Resistance to be a spy, where he is sent to this platform where he is essentially asked to keep an eye out for First Order activity. I won't get too much deeper into any of the story or the spoilers or anything like that, because what I will say is this show doesn't have too many spoilers outside of the very end of the show. But yeah, you know, this show is just kind of a silly, fun ride. I don't really think it's necessary when it comes to watching Star Wars. I think when I watch the Clone Wars and Rebels, I feel like those shows do such a great job of giving me more Star Wars. They give me something new. They expand the events around the films, as well as being their own thing with new characters, new arcs, and these new stories that they have to overcome. I think what those shows do so well is be those things that they can be on their own while also expanding the films, whereas Resistance just kind of feels like a fun Star Wars ride. It's not really something that I'm mind blown about. It's not really something that I'm really upset about or anything like that. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good time. I wasn't crazy about it. This first season is just kind of silly, good Star Wars fun. And without a doubt, this is easily the most childish of the Star Wars shows. You know, that's something that people will say about the Clone Wars and Rebels, but what I think those shows do so well is it takes this family-friendly energy that Star Wars is really well known for and mixes it in with the dark themes and some of the political elements that you see in the movies and the books and comics, and are able to really dive into that and keep the dialogue very political without dumbing it down for kids. Whereas Resistance definitely feels like it's catering to a younger audience. It definitely wants to be a little bit more silly, a little bit more lighthearted. The characters are kind of bumbling idiots that get themselves in and out of these situations. A lot of the humor is definitely a lot more for kids, and that's just a criticism I have to make as a Star Wars fan who's an adult now. I did enjoy it. I love the connections to the movies. I enjoyed the characters that do appear in this show from the movies. You get to see characters like Poe Dameron and Princess Leia and Captain Phasma. And those aren't really spoilers because they were in the trailer and all the marketing for this show. But yeah, you get to see a few other characters here and there. And I really did enjoy that, being able to see these characters from the movie appear in Resistance. I think that those were the moments that I found myself the most excited for this show. But yeah, as the show went on, I found myself really enjoying Kaz more and more. And Kaz really grew to the character I always wanted him to be in the last 3 episodes of the season. Really got me excited for what the second season would hold. So I'm excited to finish our episodes that I have not seen of season 2 so I could do that video for you guys. But yeah, Kaz does grow into this character that I really did thoroughly enjoy in the last 3 episodes. And outside of him, I really enjoyed the character of Niku. I found him to just kind of be a really silly, over-the-top, just funny character that was very lighthearted and just enjoyable. He's definitely a character that definitely leans more on the things for kids, but I did enjoy him on an overall level. And outside of him, I did also really enjoy the character of Yeager, who kind of plays this wise mentor character for Kaz, and I did really enjoy his character on an overall level. So yeah, this show is just about this character who wants to be this resistance pilot who has been given this opportunity to be a spy, and he kind of gets caught in the middle of this stuff with the First Order on this platform. What I really enjoyed about this platform too is that there are these races that take place on this platform. You have these pilots called the Aces who will go through these races where they have to go through different obstacle courses, and the whole platform is on water, so you just have this platform in the middle of the ocean, and every here and there you have these races where these Aces have to go and pilot these ships and go in and out of all these obstacle courses and these rings that they have to fly through. And I really enjoyed it because it felt like it had this blend of this resistance spy espionage story that's very lighthearted and just kind of silly, while also having this sports element to it where it's, you know, you have these racers, and that's kind of the big element of a lot of episodes. I honestly don't have too much more to say about this show. This is a show that is very well animated. I enjoyed the voice acting in it, and I enjoyed the overall story by the time the season was over. However, the show for sure definitely feels like the most lighthearted of them all. There doesn't really feel to be the greatest sense of stakes. It isn't really something that's going to have you, gripped to your seat like Clone Wars and Rebels does. I think that those shows do such a great job of having a great sense of stakes, especially as the series progressed. Whereas this one, it wasn't until the last 3 episodes that I really thought, holy crap, like now we're getting to what I wanted this show to be. And so it definitely got me excited for season 2, which is definitely a lot better than season 1. But yeah, I really enjoyed this season for what it was. It was just a silly, fun romp. I was able to just kind of watch each episode, and I don't know, nothing really made me mad, but some episodes were a little bit just okay, or they were just fine, or they were cute. I don't think it's going to be something that's going to work for every Star Wars fan, but as a diehard Star Wars fan who just loves taking in these new stories, I found it to be a fun time. Some of the characters are a little annoying. Like I said, it definitely leans more for kids, but there is some really rich and deep Star Wars stuff there for diehard Star Wars fans who like to dive deeper into the lore and be able to see these new stories. I really did enjoy a lot of the stuff that happened with the First Order in this, and like I said, the last 3 episodes where it really connects to The Force Awakens is definitely the stuff I love the most, and I really enjoyed the character of Kaz and all of the rest of the characters throughout those 3 last episodes of this season. So yeah, guys, that's gonna be my thoughts on Star Wars Resistance Season 1. Yeah, this is just kind of a silly, fun Star Wars ride that's not gonna work for everybody depending on your flavor of Star Wars that you like. But yeah, I found it to be a good time. It's harmless. It really doesn't take away from anything. It does add a few things to the sequel trilogy here and there, and I did really enjoy the characters as time went on. It's kind of sad that it's only going to have 2 seasons, but with it being the weakest of the Star Wars animated shows, I can understand that, and I can understand now with us moving into this new era of new live-action Star Wars movies and TV shows, as well as the rumored sequel series to what Rebels is. It totally makes sense to pull Dave Filoni from this and have him work on the sequel series to Rebels, which I really, really hope we get. Because Rebels is a sequel series to the Clone Wars while also being its own thing, and if we can have another sequel series to Rebels that all feels like it connects with the animated stuff as well as the movies, then I'll be super excited to see that, and I love Dave Filoni's involvement in Star Wars, so I'll be ready to watch anything he does. So yeah, guys, have you seen this show? Do you like this show? Leave those comments down below. Who's your favorite character? Who's your least favorite character? I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say, and I will see each and every single one of you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.